Morning. It is Thursday morning, January the 29th. Rise and shine. Good morning to you. This is Coffee Talk. I'm meteorologist Eric Burris. Hope you're having a great start. I know it's a chilly start to the day. Sorry about that. But listen, okay? You know I'm not the hyping kind, but the chances of snow are going up in Central Florida. Yeah. We don't know much about that. But anyway, this is the winter weather probabilities map from the National Weather Service. And they're highlighting in those real light blues, that's where we have a 20% chance of seeing snow. Can you believe that? An actual 20% chance of winter weather, we'll call it. I mean, it's going to be cold, but you know what that is. There's even some spots that could see a higher chance of some snow. You know, it's funny because when you guys were chatting, when we chat, anytime we talk, right? I feel like we're I feel like we're all pretty open and very forthcoming with each other, right? But like, if it's going to be cold, why not have a little bit of fun with it, you know? Am I right? At any rate, yeah, could see if now it's going to be flurries. It's not going to be anything significant. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to take and just kind of get through. We'll look at some raw model data, okay, and kind of give you an idea of how this plays out. We're also going to take and discuss the overall setup. How could we see some snow? So let's start off by explaining ocean effect snow or lake effect snow or Gulf effect snow, because that's really the overall setup. So think of this as the Gulf, okay? Warm water, not hot, not like hurricane season warm, but warm enough. So that warm water starts to evaporate. And as it evaporates, it condenses, it develops clouds, it supersaturates the atmosphere, and thus we end up with rain or we end up with some snow. Then the wind carries that moisture ashore, and what you end up with is snow coming ashore. It's the exact same setup as lake effect snow up north. I've seen it several times. I remember being when I was working at WPBF years ago, and we got ocean effect snow down in Port St. Lucie. That's where I met Charles Clark, who ended up interning, becoming a meteorologist, and all this fun stuff. So, anyway, I digress. But yeah, that's crazy. But it's also a possibility. So here's the kind of setup. Storm system develops out off of the deep south coastline, and as it does, it throws the cold air in. As that cold air is transporting over the Gulf, it has the chance to pick up some of that moisture and bring it in. And at the same time, you see Saturday evening on the East Coast. At the same time, there is that chance to see some of that snow on the East Coast because that storm system also brings it. So let's look at this is our futurecast model. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play the futurecast model back and just kind of give you an idea. So there's a bunch of clouds. As it's clearing out, though, actually, let me go back. Let me go back to here. As it's clearing out, look on the Gulf Coast side. What we're looking at here, these little streamers here, that's the wind picking up these little pieces of energy and bringing them in. That's the Gulf effect snow indication. And then at the same time, look over on the Atlantic side, and what you've got is you've got, in addition to the clouds, you can see on top of the clouds, you've got the white snow and the pink kind of mixed precipitation. So it's showing it. The models are hinting at it. Now, is it a significant one? No, not at all close. This is going to be the raw GFS model. And let's look at the raw GFS model. Do, 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 do. All right, so there's the clouds. You can see those blue lines. That's the 540 and below thickness. Look at that. GFS keeps that snow just off the shoreline. And that clears it out. That's the current run of the GFS. Let's go to the European. There's the morning showers. Oh, the European litter. Look at how close that takes. It's like right there. Oh man, it's right there. That's 1 a.m. Sunday, right at the coastline. Boy, that's close. Let's look at the. It's always fun to look at the Canadian because I feel like the Canadian model always wants to throw snow. Yeah, the Canadian model's throwing some snow. Yeah. So anyway, what we can do here is we can look at national blend of models. Let's do winter, snowfall 24 hour. Yeah, I mean, the national blend of models is still showing the potential for a few flurries, not a ton, but a few flurries, a little bit, just a little bit. Wouldn't that be fun? Wouldn't that be fun? We'll see if it happens. Listen, we'll see if it can happen. It would be fun. I'll give you that. It would be fun. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. I need you to also understand, like, let's control expectations here. If it were to flurry, it's not going to stick. You know what I mean? And oh man, it's not going to stick. Nautilus says if that low pressure system developed further south, then we'd maybe see more widespread chances of snow. Correct. But with the positioning now, maybe nothing or some flurries. Correct. Chris says, who would have guessed we would be having this conversation? Also correct. Yeah, not at all in my bingo card here, but it's at least worth mentioning. Just like, you know what else is worth mentioning is how significant of a cold weather event we are headed for. Sunday morning, I plan on being in the weather lab, freezing my tuchus off, chasing the cold. Look at these temperatures. 25 degrees in Orlando, 21 in the Villages, 19 degrees in Ocala, 24 Daytona Beach, 26 in Melbourne. That is a significant chill. Like, yeah. Wow. Okay, so that's the actual temperature. Look at these feels like temperatures, just to put this into perspective, okay? It will feel like 8 degrees in Ocala, 9 degrees in Palm Coast, 12 degrees in Orlando. That's where we will be come Sunday morning. Kristen's asking, if you were to chase the flurries, where would you go? It's too early to call that yet. At the moment, I would say probably looking at the Gulf Coast, but it's too early. It's too early there. We can probably start having that conversation tomorrow, but definitely having that conversation come Saturday. Yeah. All right. Gulf effect snow is the 2026 Bay of Campeche. Yeah. Right. So Victoria says, and I think that this is funny. Victoria says, so much for the predictions from other outlets of a warm winter. I mean, the overall weather pattern should have given us that. Sure doesn't seem like it's doing that, though, does it? Right? Cindy says, well, at least you have the warming clothes. Can you use them here since you didn't make it to New York? Exactly right. Exactly right. Yeah. I remember I used to live in St. Augustine. It was around 1998-ish. It snowed. There have been some years where we've had some snow for sure. Yep. Yep. Matt says 11 degrees for the Mount Dora Art Festival. Bring your own bearer. Bring your own burn barrel. Right. Well, look, we're going to have to do what we're going to have to do. So that's Sunday morning. Monday morning is going to be nearly as cold. Look at our 7-day forecast here. We've got the impact weather this morning. It's absolutely chilly. Tomorrow we'll climb to about 71 degrees. We're looking a little bit better. Then Saturday is when we start to get the showers in the morning, and then we'll start to clear that out and we'll set the stage for the chill come the afternoon. And then, of course, looking ahead to Sunday morning, Monday morning, that's where it's just awful cold. Really awful cold. Nautilus says 2026 so far has already come in with a bang. I know. Man, Adam's asking, what are the chances this cold front will disappear? It's not going to disappear. We're going to get a cold front. Absolutely going to get a cold front. Now, what are the impacts? Could we, could the snow opportunity completely leave? Sure, but you know, no, we're going to get cold. No matter what, the pattern is absolutely looking cold. Tanya, good morning. Glad you said hello on your way to detention. Victor's asking, when are we getting back to normal Florida weather? So that's a great question, and I'm happy to report that looking at the American GFS model and the Europeans basically the same thing. Watch the temperature trend here. All right. Once we get through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, that big dip in temperatures, we start to look better. Now it'll be coolish through next week. But notice beyond next week, looking at Sunday the 8th, Monday the 9th, Tuesday the 10th, we're back into the 70s. And frankly, the American GFS model is saying, look at that, Thursday the 12th, Friday the 13th. Oh, it's Friday the 13th. We're back into the 80s. Now that's the GFS. Here's the European, and it'll show the exact same thing. You'll see those temperatures on their way up. Now, around the 11th and the 12th, the Euro's trying to dial in um, another cold front. So the euro's a little colder, but still, we're getting there, right? Uh, Kelly's asking, have you heard anything about ensuring you have a drip with faucets so pipes don't freeze? Well, that's definitely something that we've been talking about, and I would highly suggest it. So when we talk about what you need to do, you want to place the breathable cloths over the plants, those sensitive plants especially. You want to leave your pool pumps running because um, those pool pumps are going to have a real struggle not freezing unless you're running them, keeping that water moving. And then you want to keep that slow drip on an indoor faucet, wells to be kept running. You know, I can tell you that like we're going to be doing plenty of stories on this to make sure that you're aware of it. But this is the kind of cold event that we have to take preparations for. And for people that want to make fun of us, oh, you Floridians, yeah, us Floridians. So what? That's what it is, right? Blue Goose on YouTube says normal Florida weather is on hold until further notice. Guitar show this weekend at O Town gonna get cold. Oh, it is. Well, and then like there's a bunch of events honestly that are having to either postpone or cancel because of this chill. Let's see here. The Ghosted Woman. Should you do that if you live in an old condo? I might do it anyway. If you live in any building, I would still leave the drip. I would leave the faucet on a drip just to keep it moving a little bit overnight. You know what I mean? Um, yeah. Stacy says my water company sent an email to keep the faucets dripping so that they do not freeze. I remember Christmas years ago, pipes burst at a house that I was at, and it was an actual disaster. You don't want that. You just don't want that. Tara says, we're not used to this. Give us a break. I know, I know, I know. Deanna says, Disney on Saturday. So Disney on Ice is what you're saying. Nah, I actually think that would be kind of fun to be at Disney and have like a flurry. Not to say that that's going to happen. I just think that it would be fun. Oliver says, put on a running garden hose with a misting nozzle on your trees to make them extra frosty looking. You can do that. You can do that. Matthew says on Facebook, it was a few years ago on Christmas Day. It was 17 degrees and one of the outside sprinkler pipes bust and the water froze as it was spraying out. That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. So it's okay for people to make fun of us, but at the end of the day, this is a big deal, you know? Chris says, I understand we are renaming the state South Alaska just for the day, just for a couple days. Cole says, my wife has been asking me to replace a running toilet tank. Here's my excuse to not replace it this weekend. That's valid, actually. Start dripping faucets and leaving filter on overnight. That's what I would do. Yeah. No one would believe snow at Disney. You think Disney snow? I know. I know. Christine says, moved here 40 years ago from Ohio, and I feel like I'm back there. But this is a short term thing. Like, look at next Wednesday. We're back to 70 degrees. That's not so bad, right? So, yeah. All right. Flight tracker. All right, let's go to the desk. Let's get set up for some weather. Will you guys join me? Let's get this up here. Free McFlurries at McDonald's. Just kidding. Yeah, it's just the water McFlurries, right?
Low-cost airline Breeze just made an announcement of a new nonstop flight between Orlando and Brownsville, Texas. Flights start on May 15th with tickets as low as $79. Breeze also announced the first nonstop flight between Tampa and Bahamas in 20 years.
Well, this morning, let's take a live look here at Orlando International Airport. Last weekend's winter storm continues to have an impact on travel here in Florida. So far today, about 34 delayed flights, only one cancellation at MCO, so that is some good news. Now, these, though, could climb and change in the days ahead with another possible storm hitting the East Coast over the weekend. And of course, we're bracing for those extra cold temperatures, and we're already waking up rather cold today.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
looking for over the weekend air temperatures to go much lower than that.
Well, so air temperatures are going to be for our entire area, including the Space Coast, in the 20s, which is already something. But then, because of how gusty it's going to be, the feels like temperatures should be into the single digits in our northern spots and like 10, 11, 12, 13 for the rest. And I was talking to friends at the Weather Service because I'm like, I don't know of a data set that tracks wind chills.
Yeah.
And Will is one of the meteorologists there. He's like, we don't because it's such a varying thing. But based on all the data that he and I were looking at, this is going to be the coldest wind chills that we have seen in 20, 30 years, maybe even longer. So that it is that significant. But that's not what everybody's talking about. Everybody's like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, forget the fact that it's going to feel like 9 degrees. But wait, did I hear a flurry? Yeah, that's what everybody, and there's like such a low chance of snow. But because it's there, let's discuss. This is the National Weather Service's probability of winter weather, which is basically the technical term of saying, could we see a flurry, like one or two? And the answer is actually yes, not necessarily in the metro, but if you head out to the west, those chances have actually gone up over the last 24 hours time, 20%, even little spots of 40% around St. Augustine and the like. But it all depends on this storm system, where it sets up, when it sets up. So the idea is Saturday, it's going to start bombing out. And as it does, it spreads its moisture, but that moisture starts to freeze as it becomes colder atmospherically. There's the chance for the East Coast snow. That's going to be kind of Saturday. And then into Sunday, we bring the winds in off of the Gulf, and there's the potential to bring in streamers of Gulf effect snow. It would be a couple of flurries, but just to put it into perspective, this is our futurecast model. Here's Saturday night, and you see these little lines? Those are the streamers I'm talking about. If you've ever lived up north around the Great Lakes, exact same setup as lake effect snow. Then, of course, looking at the overnight period, you see those whites there. That's a cloud. That's a different texture. That's the snow, according to Futurecast. Our model's keeping most of the snow off the shoreline. But again, it'll be fun to track the basic movement of this storm system, where it develops, and if we're able to throw in a little bit of winter weather our direction. Either way, though, the cold is going to be the big deal, right? Actual temperature 19 in Ocala, 24 Claremont, 25 in Orlando. Here's your feels likes: 8 in Ocala, 15 in Titusville, 12 in Orlando. So everything, people, plants, pets, pipes, working, it's going to be a big impact event. But at least for us this morning, while yes, it's chilly, temperatures are not that bad. Relatively speaking. 28 in Ocala, 40 degrees in Orlando. It's 38 New Smyrna Beach. Tomorrow we're into the 70s, a few showers early Saturday, and then Sunday, Monday, that bitter cold moves in. We'll be watching and keeping you up to date with each and every model run, Megan. Okay. Ugh. Isn't that wild? What a little weather setup we have. I love the field trips. They're always fun. Thank you. Let's see here. Warmer in Juneau, Alaska. What's with the light turning on and off while she was talking? Is that an indication the camera's on? I'd have to see, but yeah, when the camera's on, it turns red, but I don't know what light you were referring to, if it was that or not. Let's see here. Accumulation of 0.001. Hey, it's a possibility. Will the rains be around Saturday morning? It's going to be a Saturday morning shower, yeah. The spooky ghoul on X says, OMG, I just feel like I looked behind the curtain in Oz. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing. Well, thank you for joining. Listen, when I'm at work, I may be doing coffee talk with you. I still have to do the TV thing. So I'm going to do it again here in a couple seconds. Loving the genuine winter we're experiencing, making soup this weekend. It's definitely going to be winter. Like genuine, like what's the deal with this winter? I see, I'm curious now at this point. Like we hadn't hit a freeze in a couple of years. We did that in November, and now here we are. So it's like how days of temperatures in the 30s. Are we above average with that? Like I've got so many questions. All right, we'll do that. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, very good. All right. We're set up for today's show. Joseph's asking, what's the difference between freeze warning and hard freeze warning? Yes. So we have a graphic for that. Manolfi built it. So a hard freeze warning is when temperatures get to 27 or below for a couple of hours. Whereas a freeze warning is 32 or below, likely for a couple of hours. So that's the big difference there. Yeah. Yep. All right. Making homemade chicken pot pie within the next couple of days, Destiny says. This weather seems Thank you, buddy. This weather seems appropriate for it. I can confirm homemade chicken pie. Thank you, buddy. What else do you buy on the card? Buddy Trevor ran to Starbucks yesterday and today. I bought today, and he loved when I handed him the card. It's like it's not much there. Daniel says, "Good morning. I'm so cold." Yeah, I get that. All right. So anyway, we've got the chill. What's so funny, people were asking yesterday on Coffee Talk, like, hey, when are we going to get to the 70s? And it's like, actually, we're going to get to the 70s tomorrow. Friday's going to get there. And then Saturday, we start off with the showers, and then it all starts kind of dropping through the day. So, yeah. Christina says, making some chicken soup. That sounds good to me. I'll go ahead. Tampa, we get freezing spray warning soon. Mark my word. Freezing spray warning? What's a freezing spray warning? It's so chilly, I need a spoon. Ah, Daniel, that's funny. That's a dad joke. It's so chilly, I need a spoon, he said. I get it. Chilly? Oh, so bad. It's bad here in Ocala, absolutely freezing, but I'll take it over summer. You know, by the time we're done with this, we're going to be ready for summer, right? Ooh, Christy says tonight is grilled cheese and French onion soup. I need a recipe for French onion soup. Oh, man. Stacy says it's bad here in Ocala, absolutely freezing, but I'll take it. Oh, I think I already read that. My bad. Just trying to get through it. All right. So Vicky's asking, what's the timeline for flurries? It's a little early. I would just say late Saturday through Sunday morning. So yeah, we're just not there yet. We're just not to that point yet. We'll get there. Um, Debbie says, I know we do not have detention on Sundays, but this Sunday will be detention for all. I'm going to be in the weather lab. I'm working. I'm not supposed to be working, but I'm working. So, yeah. Grace says, think heat index of 100-degree thoughts. Right. Yeah. Bruce says, I can post a onion soup recipe. Yes, please do. Please do. So Goy is asking timeline for McFlurries. Too early for the timeline. I'm thinking though, later in the day, Saturday afternoon, evening, overnight into Sunday morning. That's that's going to be the timeline. And then yes, Frank says Gasparilla is going to be interesting. Can you imagine? And Megan had mentioned Gasparilla. Like, can you imagine? You're going to be there. You'll be in Tampa. Gasparilla with flurries. But there was, like, can you imagine flurries over the pirate ships? What? All right, let's do this. Okay. It's wild. Even this morning, I mean, it's not as cold as it's going to be, but it's a clear sky and a chilly start to the day, no doubt. We're at 42 degrees in Orlando. It's 32 in the Villages, out of the 20s to the 30s now in Ocala, and 39 in Daytona Beach. So forecast today brings us to 59 lunchtime, 65 the high. We'll hit 71 tomorrow, a few showers early Saturday, and then it is flat out cold on Sunday and Monday, waking up to the 20s with feels like temperatures in the teens, Megan. All right, so we've got a couple of seconds. I'm going to do my next hit, and then I can be back with you. Let's see. It's going to be wall-to-wall manatees of Blue Springs. They counted like 600, I believe, yesterday. Yeah. Oh, man. I'm heading to Epcot, Nikki says, for a few hours this afternoon. I'll definitely be stopping by the festival booth that has grilled cheese. Oh, grilled cheese and tomato soup just sounds so good. Okay, not in the headlines, but I will start at the disco. Cool. All right, let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do that. All right. All right. Starting at the disco here, so this will be. Ugh. I will be on the right. I'll disco right. Okay. This camera shot is called the disco. Everyone has a has a name. That way we know where. Roger that. Thank you, Scott.
Like sucking on cough drops now.
Yep. You're getting older, Jason.
It's like I'm eating candy all day.
Yeah.
Sugar.
We get sugar free. I don't want to do that.
Right now in Sunrise at 8:30, we're dealing with another cold morning. You're feeling it, and we're getting you ready for the true winter conditions across Central Florida as the temperature really drops. What you need to know before the weekend blast. Plus,
A Florida Marine speaks out about how immigration enforcement crackdowns are impacting his and many more families.
it's just before 8:30 here on this Thursday morning. We're taking a look on the left out over Orlando. It's a gorgeous start to the day, but on the right, yes, those are the actual temperatures right now that we are dealing with. 30s and 40s for us as we are going to see some beautiful sunshine, hoping to warm up a bit.
Yeah, warming up, but don't get too used to those warm ups. There
Haha.
temps coming up on Sunday. Yes, you are seeing temps in the 20s and the teens. Thanks so much for joining us on this Thursday. I'm Eric McDonough. Good morning.
Hey, good morning to you. I'm Jason Guy. We've got with us first morning meteorologist Eric Burris. Eric, we as Floridians are not ready for what's coming Sunday.
Listen, I started forecasting in Orlando in 2001, and I don't know that I've ever put teens on a map. Like that's just where we are. And then the feels like temperatures are even colder. So, oh, and by the way, let me show you the European model because it's even saying we could see some snow trying to pop up. Look off the East Coast. This is going to be late Saturday. See those white shades there? Yeah. So there's a lot. This is too much, okay? This morning, at least we've started the temperature climb. We are at 33 degrees in Ocala. We were in the 20s. We were at like 24 degrees just a little bit ago. It's 39 in Leesburg, 42 Orlando, 40 degrees in Titusville. With the feels like, with that breeze, it still feels like the 20s here in Ocala. It's 34 in Palm Coast, 33 in Melbourne, and 32 in St. Cloud. It's a beautiful start to the day here. Looking in Sanford, Lake Monroe, our tower cam over at the Venue 520. Most of us are going to be hanging out in the mid 60s today, some spots in the 50s, but tomorrow we'll be in the 70s. And then it's all downhill from there. Let's talk about the big changes when I see it coming up in just a couple of minutes. Now at 8:31, let's get right over to Megan Mackey with first warning traffic. Okay. Nick says, smoothly and effortlessly moves from coffee talk to live weather. Well, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Sometimes I don't feel good, but I appreciate your kind words. All right. Space heater safety precautions. That's true. I don't even think that that's an underestimated hazard. I just think that it's one that people don't realize. You know, yeah. Let your pipes drip so they don't burst. Yes. Kelly says, loved your spot on with Al Roker. If anyone step into his... Well, I appreciate that. I don't know that NBC would agree, but I appreciate that very much. All right, let's see here. Chris, let me guess. Disco's operator name is Duck. No. All right. Uh-oh. Somebody making fun of my posture. Tanya says, straighten up that posture. I've never had good posture. Yeah. All right, let's see here. I would be a nervous wreck, Kim says, out there with the cameras and all that green suit. Thank you very much. Hey, look, we're just trying to be cool. What do they say? What did Stuart Scott say? Cool like the other side of the pillow? Is that what he used to say? Who, by the way, Stuart Scott worked here at Wesh years ago, but I digress. All right, let's see here. If it doesn't snow, Jamie's asking, in Central Florida, where is it going to snow? I thought I saw coastal Carolinas. Oh, it's going to be a big snow up there. A big snow up there. For us, not may get a flurry. That'll be it. Ah, yeah. All right. That's all I got. You got anything else? Same here. I've been lovingly called the shrimp. But Channel says that's too funny. All right. What will this mean for this year's hurricane season? Aha! I can tell you, Jeremy and I were talking about this yesterday, talking about everything yesterday. So stay tuned. What is it? March the right? March the 1st is when our hurricane season forecast comes out. All right. All right. Listen, that's all I got for you at 8:33 on a Thursday morning. Thank you for joining us for Coffee Talk. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye.